everyone. So today we will be covering the Next.js Starter with Contentful. So first of all, what is Contentful? Contentful is a headless CMS which provides, you know, multiple teams to collaborate together and update a CMS. CMS is just a content management system. If you have heard of Drupal, Joomla, WordPress, so these all are written on PHP. But Contentful is platform, language independent. You can write, code in multiple languages. But in this session, we will be covering Next.js with React.js. So coming on to this, what we need to follow up on. So agenda, we will be covering what is Contentful, its key feature, advantages of using it, and what is headless CMS, and what is the difference between earlier, monolithic CMS. I have heard that Drupal, WordPress is also following up this headless thing because it is has many advantages. Sorry, advantages over this monolithic CMS architecture. Then we'll follow up on contentful architecture, its flow, and how we can get it integrated with Next.js and React.js. So let's get started then. So as I have already mentioned, so it's a cloud-based headless CMS designed to provide users with a solution that will help developers and content editors organize and distribute content to any platform. So it means, Contentful is like you update the data on a GUI interface, which I will show you in the end of the session in the demo. Then inside the Contentful, it has some panel, GUI panel, where you will update some the data, whatever you want to do, and those are being covered by the content managers and all, and that will, once you did the update, and it will reflect in across all your platforms. I mean to say iPad, iPhone, web browsers, and across multiple platforms. So the platform offers powerful API for consuming and publishing content, so developers can build apps for every channel. So its key feature is like, Contentful is a API for CMS. All the data is being served as form of API data. In this session, we will be having this API consumed in form of JSON. I do support some other API, GraphQL and all as well, but this session will be more on JSON data. Far more features than this traditional CMS allow users to store and link to content from multiple sources, developer tools for avoiding manual migration, minimizing custom development, eliminating content change backlogs, product owners tool for replicating content model, reusing content, and syncing common components. Marketing tool for researching new audience across region, channel, and brand with consistent messaging. Combines your content in a flexible JSON API, well-documented API and CLI migration tool, and SDK for most of the popular programming languages. It do provide that. Integrated services without need of third-party plugins. CDN to provide high speed to the users. So CDN is like content delivery network, if you have heard of. So it do provides data at a high speed. We'll cover up in later of this session. So advantages is like front-end freedom. Headless commerce platform allows front-end developer to create a completely customized user experience for customer, offering the ability to tailor form, product, and pricing based on their specific business needs. Easy employee adaptation. To make things easier, teams can take advantage of headless commerce or use a platform that allow access to the front end and back end without having to worry about developing the entire thing from scratch. Every member of the team can have access to the company's online store with equal ease, regardless of experience level. So languages, Contentful support JDKs for JavaScript, Ruby, PHP, and most of the popular languages, so developers won't feel restricted. Uh, Great user experience with a headless e-commerce site. Brands can focus on their content rather than the detail required to mold it into responsive design. More creativity means more engaging e-commerce sites for customers and visitors. True omni-channel experience. Headless commerce allows a business to create its own front end and offers an easier way of scaling on new sales channel. So these are pretty advantages. There are a lot more, but I mentioned few of them which are critical, which are really meant to make this contentful awesome thing. So this headless CMS. So before coming to headless, I would like to mention few advantages of this in detail. So this contentful is like you have multiple what you say devices which you have, and in earlier traditional CMS, what you have is like your code is tightly bind with the content over there, and it is being tangled with your the content is being tangled with your code, and it takes a lot of effort of the the developer and the content managers as well to update the data on across multiple platforms. But with the help of this headless contentful CMS, it is no longer required. So the content managers can easily update the content onto from their contentful panel, and that will trigger up a build, and it will take hardly 15 minutes to get your data reflected on their live site. So that is an advantages of using this headless CMS contentful. So this headless CMS is extremely flexible, and it can easily power other platforms even if you haven't changed them for your project. Traditional CMS, on the other hand, and has content and layout inter intertwined, so it can't integrate with platform that it has not been originally designed to accommodate. Monolithic CMS refers to in all-in-one solution you get out of the box that helps you store, manage, and present content. Usually, these traditional CMS solutions have a single code base that handles all content management aspects of your website or application. One of the most common and popular monolithic CMS types is open source, available to the public to use and modify. Think of WordPress and Joomla. The drawbacks of traditional CMS system, however, is that you need to install numerous extensions and plugins to get more advanced functionalities, and this in itself may cause issues. For open source CMS platform, you will also need to spend a lot of time and money on optimizing stability, security, and performance capabilities. So this in traditional CMS, we if we want to have some advanced feature, we need to install a lot of plugins. If you have really worked on WordPress or Joomla, you might be knowing it. So it takes a lot of effort to get your site running fast, and as it and WordPress and Joomla are more on a PHP based technology, so it is itself it takes time to render up the page. It is not based on this SPA, single page application, this React and Angular works upon. So yeah, so it takes a lot of effort in this traditional CMS to get the things optimized and having this advanced feature. Headless CMS, on the other hand, boils down to the database backend with the web-based user interface where you access the content through an API. This makes it ideal for website and apps that use JavaScript frameworks, native mobile apps, or any case in which you need to publish content across multiple platforms all at once. So it means, if you use traditional CMS, so your the this CMS code will be tightly coupled with the content which you are having across multiple platform. You need to make changes inside the code, maybe if you want to have any new feature or something like that onto your on your live site. But here it is it is all done through an API, And this API is like, we provide, mostly we provide the data in form of JSON, and JSON do contains all sort of information which is being required to render up the data on the UI. Let's say generally we have some text box or some paragraph, they have some bold text or title. So all this information is being stored in form of JSON, and is being returned on to the site. And the data, which is there on the Contentful. So what happens is like, you made some changes onto the this Contentful platform. So what is that, it too compiles up a JSON of all the data available on your Contentful admin panel, Contentful panel. I would not say admin, because we do have some privileges that whosoever can update the content onto this Contentful panel. So it depends on that. So whenever you make an update, so it too compiles up all of your data onto the panel, and a single JSON is being sent out to the site. And that JSON, I would say, yes, it is very large. It is a very large JSON, and it depends on the data, how much data you are having on your site. So that JSON is being served on to your onto your site, and then we play around with that JSON, we massage the JSON, and we go through different sort of they have some terminologies over there, and then we need to transform, massage the JSON, and then we will be showing up the data onto the UI. So this is how this Contentful works. So coming on to this, so these are some bullet points. A traditional CMS hosting and delivery, it is in-house. Headless CMS, it is in the cloud. Development mindset, it is more on a project focused, but headless, it is more on a product focus. Content model is built for a single page, building blocks for many products. Yes. Supported devices limited, and here it is limitless, because it is all sort of JSON which is being provided. Reach one to one, one to many. Workflow waterfall, and here it is agile. Update scheduled, and here we can have continuous. Whenever we did an update, when the build gets triggered and the data is being reflected on the site. Backend system, it's monolithic, all in one. It's microservice, best in class. So hope you have heard of this monolithic and microservice architecture. So far, anyone has having any question regarding this monolithic CMS and this headless CMS Contentful? Okay, I will take it as no. Coming on to this architecture. So this Contentful architecture is like user management API is there. So see, this Contentful is like, we there is no need of developer to get in communication with this content creator. So every team can work individually. They don't need to club together, and they need to communicate that this is what I need to get this data onto the UI. So they need to reach out to developer, or vice versa. Developer need to reach out to content creator that this is the change I have made, and you need to make some changes onto your content, so that it will look good on the UI. So it is not required. So it is purely independent. So we don't need to do this. So content creator, it's a web app. Web app is Contentful panel. Will go to that area soon and later in this session. And developer, it's the CLI. That we will also cover in this session. So you can here we will have Next.js and React.js, and we will be writing code onto that on the top of that, and we can have some skeleton being developed, and what sort of data will be there. And from this content creator, they can add some new content type, or altogether a new entry can be done very easily, but also they can introduce some new content type and as well as, so that it will be reflected onto the site. So once this developer CLI and this web API, so this web API provides this data in form of JSON to the user management API, and this data is being processed onto this Contentful. And then we have this preview API, image API, delivery API, and this here we do have JavaScript, mostly Java or just Swift, and then the data is being processed over here, and we have this GraphQL delivery and preview as well, as I mentioned earlier, and then the data is being visible on the UI, and when you across multiple platforms. So this is all about the architecture. Coming on to the next part, it's contentful flow. Imagine you are using a traditional CMS for your content and you want to manage your content across channels. So you have to create a content system for each channel using a separate CMS. One for your website, one for your mobile app, and one for your smart device such as smartwatches, smart TV, etc. This would mean updating your app on each channel separately. So here is how Contentful handle things. Since the platform utilizes management and distribution across these channels, you only need to manage your content space, and Contentful API will deliver it across platform in literally one click. So you just need to update your content on a single space, and that will update your content, and the data will be reflected across multiple platforms. And literally in one click means you just need to click on publish button, and and that's all you need to do. Here is what the flow of publishing content looks like once you start working with the platform. So yeah, so although we will be covering up onto the panel itself, but the steps involved will be like creating a space. In Contentful, you need to create workspace or space for a short. Your space serves to keep all content related to your project represented by specific types of data called content models. You do this by adding content types for each kind of content you wish to have in your space. Adding content, once you have created a space for your project with the proper content models, your next step is to start adding content. So these are the steps involved. There are some other steps, for to add some more data, to add content types and your content obviously as well, so that that will be visible on the UI. So coming on to this in Contentful, there are two types of content you can easily add and easily manage in a user-friendly editor. Entries, this refers to the content itself arranged according to the previously created content model. Assets refer to all files attached to the content model. So these are the two types of content which we will see in the session. So yeah, there is this step 3 as well. Setting up your content for distribution. Since your content is independent of the presentation layer, you need to delegate content display management to your team of developers, designers, and editors. This means each platform has its individual front end that will display your content. All you need to do is use API keys to determine where content will go. Hit the publish button, and your content will be distributed to determined platforms. Okay, and I want to highlight one more feature of this Contentful. It do have this locale feature as well. So although it's a it's a local feature, how it helps is you have site running on multiple, what you say, languages. So what you need to do is you can add some some locale onto your site, and then on adding every content onto your site, it will ask for this for the data into this respective languages. So let's say blog title it is asking, so by default, let's say if it is English and you have added English Canada, then it will be a separate block for that, and it will ask for the title in EN Canada. So this is how the you can play around with multiple languages into this contentful site. So yes, integrating Next.js and React. So Next.js and React are popular choices for building web applications. When paired with a headless CMS like Contentful, they offer a powerful combination of flexibility, ease to use, and performance. This guide will help you integrate a Next.js application with Contentful. So why are Next.js and React? So a headless CMS like Contentful allows you to separate the content management and presentation layers of your web application. This means you can manage your content in one place and then use that content to power any number of different front-end experience such as web or mobile application. Next.js is a React framework for the web, enabling you to create full stack web application used by some of the largest companies in the world. It integrates the latest React features, includes built-in image, font, and script optimization, and it has powerful Rust-based JavaScript tooling for the fastest build and local environment. React, on the other hand, is a JavaScript library for building user interface. It allows you to build reusable component that can be easily shared across different parts of your app. So I hope you have covered all this, React, Next.js, and React.js in your sessions earlier. Next.js is a React platform, so you can use your existing React knowledge when working with Next.js. When used together, Next.js and React allow you to create a performant and scalable web app that can easily consume and display content from a headless CMS like Contentful. This makes it easy to manage your content and keep your web app up to date without having to worry about the underlying infrastructure. So this is all about integrating. So we will do it in a demo. Yeah. So for setting up this Contentful, so what we are going to do is we to help to get started quickly, we have built a template using Next.js, Contentful, and Taint-built CSS. You can easily clone to your machine, clone the Next.js Contentful starter template on your machine. So I would say this I will perform. I can get started on this so that I can explain you, you know, in what in practical way how this is being done. So we have some links that you can follow up to get this set up on your machine, and it do has this getting it deployed to production as well. You can use Vercel. I guess this one of them, yeah, this one is Vercel one, so you can get your kind of data or site deployed using Vercel. So let's jump to the demo part then. So I'm using npx. So I will create a very simple app. So create next app is like, it will create a next app, and the app name is be, let's say I'm creating a blog app. Okay. So TypeScript, I'm taking it as yes, ESLint yes, Tailwind yes, SRC directory yes, app router yes, import alias, I'm taking it as no. It won't take much time. So before jumping on to this demo, if do anybody has any question around it, what is Contentful, why it is, why it is being used widely now across. I have heard that Contentful is being used in many of the companies widely because it do provide a very flexible architecture also. So anybody having any questions? Okay. So coming on to this demo part, yeah, this is being done. Let's, yeah, so we install this Contentful. Yeah, it has been installed. Let's see whether the app is working fine or not. Yeah, so it's up. So it is just a small Next.js app. And now we will introduce Contentful. Let's see the admin panel first. So once you sign up on Contentful, so you will see something like this, and it do provides two experiences. One is developer, one is editor. I prefer developer because it do provides some more features and flexibility. So let's delete my existing space and create a new one. I'm switching to editor first so that all my content will be deleted. So it all starts with this space. So Contentful is completely dependent on this space thing, and inside the space you use to do your stuff. So now I'm switching to developer. Yep, done. So once you start building up the things using this developer, you can switch to content model. So this content model will be like, what all models you would be having. Let's say type of content, or uh, what, any article, any blog, or any sort of thing like that. Your header, you can have this header as a content model, footer, and what all things will be there, what all fields will be there. So let's say header to have these many fields, it do have some top navigation bar and some image on the very top, and footer will be like, copyright text and these all things. So that can be, we can introduce it in this content model thing. So let's create one, and I will make it as like blog post. Identifier, it is being required. Yeah, now we can add some fields. So let's start with text. One will be title, of course, and I'm keeping it short. Confirm. See, title is there. Then, yeah, before going to any other thing, we need to have one field that is named as slug. So if I go to text, and if I go to, let's say, slug, I want to have. So I will tell you later why this slug is being required. Yeah. So appearance will be like slug. We need to select slug. So slug, how it helps, like it is a unique identifier while you will execute your data, while you will be fetching up the data from here. So this slug will help us to identify from where content type it needs to fetch up the data. So this is how this slug is being required, and it automatically makes it unique field, so that it won't be identical for any of other content type over here. So yeah, slug ID is there. default behavior. Use entry title default behavior. Okay. Then we can have one description maybe, or maybe content. Yeah, these it is having some formatting, hyperlinks, what all things are. I'm not selecting any of them. Confirm title slug content, and I think this much will be sufficient for this as of now. So click on save button. Now we will jump on to this content part. It is empty. We will add an entry. So if you see, by default we are having only one content model, so it is showing only this content model. So whatever content model you would be creating, so all the content will be pushed into that content model. So I have created this blog post, so any content will be one of the content model, so that's why this content type it is coming as blog post. Whatever keys I have added, title, let's say uh, Next.js with Contentful. And in slug I can mention blog one maybe. Yes. Providing providing data purpose. Enough. Next.js is Contentful. So right now it is in draft state. So it also provide one, it reminds me one of the feature that Contentful is having. So if you have not published it and it is still in draft phase, you can still see the data onto the site in a preview mode. So it do provide a preview mode, and when you are in this preview mode, all your data which will be, in this draft phase, it will be there onto your site. So you want, as soon as you will be updating of the things will be getting reflected onto the site in the preview mode. So but we will here we will consider it as publish only. First entry published. We'll go back. Yes. So the data is being published. Now I'm coming back to the code. I'm I'm opening up the code which I have just configured. Blog app. Yeah, so this is the next, it is just a Next.js code with the Contentful being installed. Yes, here it is. So here I would say I will add couple of files over here. Blog app, src app. Yes, so I've added three files as of now. One is inside this slug. utils page. Yeah, so three files I've added. So before going into these functions, we need to communicate our code with the with our contentful with with our contentful panel. For that, we need to have this keys being configured in our env file. So I'm creating a .env file, and inside this env file, we require two attributes. Yes, these are the one. Space ID and access token. We need to get it from Contentful. Go to settings, API keys. Yeah, we need to add one API key like test. Let's add API key. Yeah, so this is the space ID to add, and so yeah, here it is. It's a delivery API access token and delivery API and preview API. So preview API will be like when the data is being inside the draft state. As soon as you updating the content into this contentful, the data will be in a preview mode, and this preview API access token will help you your data to be reflected on the site, provided you are in a preview mode. This delivery API is used for the published data, when the data is being properly published. So we'll use this one only as of now. Copy. Yes, all good now. We can execute our app. Yes, I see it is working absolutely fine. So now come on to the code. So it all starts from this. So this page.tsx is on the src app folder. So this is the home page, you can say. So I am here, I am getting all the blog posts from this function, and this function is over here inside this utility, and I'm getting all these things from the blog post. If you remember that when I created this and the type of this content, I used it blog post, so that's why it is getting this all the entries from this blog post, this content type. So this function is calling up this function, this content type, and I'm getting all the blog post inside this. And this is how only as of now it is only one. We are seeing only one. And let me add one more so that add entry. Add JS, let's say. Okay, now it is in draft state. We won't be able to see it. Once I publish it, it's done. See, I just publish it and I just reloaded the app and the data is being visible on the UI. So this how the things are fast. The build was quite fast because our data is very less as of now. So this is how it is getting updated over here very quickly. In a large project, it may take some time to get your data compiled and show it on the UI because it will have a large sort of JSON. And if I click this, yes, yeah, no, this is the blog one only. And yeah, this is the one. This is the SPA library. So yeah, so this is about this listing of it. And if I go to slug file, so slug is it's a next.js architecture. If you have your square bracket slug, and inside of that you are having some file, so that will treat whatever will be there inside this path, so that will come inside, land in this slug folder. So yeah, so here I am displaying the title and this content zero value you are seeing, because as I mentioned, the JSON structure of this contentful is forcing me to get the data in sort of this format. So if we are having some big application, so what we are having is we are having a transformation layer being present in between. So what it will do is, whatever the entry type we are having, and the entry type along with the data type, what you say, if I go over here, whether it is title or it is content. So content may have many sort of, it has bold, italic, it has some features on it. So on the basis of this, the JSON is being manipulated. Let me show you the JSON directly, it would be good. Title, it is getting from which data? Entry by stuff. Yeah, here it is. If I do a console.log, let's say I'm click on this. Yeah, so here is the JSON. I guess I need to stringify it. JSON.stringify query result. Yes. Yeah, so here is the data. Copy. Okay, I'm on this log one app. Yes. So this is the data, and as you can see, we are getting this query result, and this query result is being returned onto this slug, and we are having getting this title and content. So title is quite forward on the top. Here is the title, but the value which we are having this over here inside this paragraph and document, because I mentioned that it is having many sort of variants over here. So the JSON is being constructed for that, and we are having this content, and then content of zero, then content of zero, and then the value. I know it's not the right way. For demo, I'm using it. Otherwise, you need to have one transformation layer to be pushed in between, so that if let's say I'm having this, it is an a paragraph, so I will be getting it content of zero as a text. If there is some other sort of content other than text number, then it will be into the second element of this array. So then I need to get all my values to be pushed, and how I need to show it on the UI. So that transformation is being required to get this render on the UI. Yeah, so that's all. I guess this we are almost on time. Uh, I've covered all sort of things as of now. Yeah, any questions for regarding this demo? Hey Manchu, I am even on the call. Okay, so that's all from me for this session. Hope you like it, and feel free to play around with this Contentful. It's a very cool feature and it's really very fast. We are using it in our Loblaw project for marketing side. So I don't see Himanshu on the call. Yeah, Himanshu, you there?
Yeah, yeah, I am here. Okay, so I guess we are done with the session, right?
Correct.
Sorry, I was on the other call. If you are done, then we can wrap it up from here, and I'll request everyone to please join the other sessions in the meantime. And thank you, Aditya, for delivering the session, and thank you everyone for joining us today.